Hi, I'm Anna Spencer. Today I get a real treat. If you were worried about the state of American democracy, you're not the only one. I'm still a U.S. citizen as well as a Canadian one. And I tell you, it's easier to be a Canadian these days than it is to be an American, I'll tell you. Although, I'm not terribly engaged with things in the U.S. anymore. I haven't been there about 15 years. No, I did. I went to my hometown to look over things with my brother about 5 years ago. Anyway, I get to talk to Dr. Paul Zeitz, who is going to fix everything. And I'm trusting you, Paul, because I certainly wouldn't be able to do it myself, and we certainly need some help. So Paul Zeitz is going to convene Americans and try to...
No, wait a second, This is not about me convening anyone, right? I'm providing you an update about the state of the movement. I'm part of a movement of movement, an ecosystem of ecosystems that are pro-democracy, that are converging and mobilizing. So it's like I'm one of thousands or tens of thousands, millions, really, of pro-democracy Americans.
Honey, that is such a sweet way of putting it. It makes me admire you for being so democratic. But I know that you're a leader. And
No. You don't understand. We have a leaderful movement, a movement full of leaders. This is not about a leader. This is the kind of, I'm in a lot of meetings where people are like, well, we don't have our George Washington or we don't have our Martin Luther King. And I'm like, put my hand up in my little Zoom thing and I go, I recommend that you go home and look in the mirror because this is a leader-full movement, a movement full of leaders. We are all co-leading this. This is so big and transformational. It's that we're not looking for a leader. That's a false concept.
Okay, I just am glad to be told that it's a false concept, but I know you're one of the big honchos, and that's all there is to it.
I'm a node in a vast network, yes. I am a node. I'll acknowledge I'm a node, yeah.
Okay, that's so refreshing to see somebody whose aspirations are to be really democratic.
Yeah.
You're one in a million. Okay, now I want to know more about this, and we have about less than 45 minutes of your very busy time. I know you're a physician in the Washington, D.C., North Virginia or someplace area. Where are you?
I'm based in Maryland. I'm trained as a public preventive medicine physician, but I practice political advocacy, campaigning, and movement building as my preventive medicine trade, basically. So I've evolved into doing that as my specialty.
Well, I can't think of a better thing to do. That is exactly what the world needs. And I take my pills, but I tell you that doesn't begin to do it. We have to do a lot more than our exercises and our getting good sleep and not smoking in order to fix this world. And the best place to start right now would be fixing the U.S. I think you're off to a good start. So give me, we've talked about this before. In fact, I should refer to a previous forum that we did, a conversation, I don't know, 6 months or a year ago.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
But you were early in the planning of holding some kind of constitutional convention or something. And I don't even want to put words in your mouth. You start off start from the beginning because I've kind of forgotten some of what you told me anyway. Let's get going. Tell me what's up.
Yeah, I think that there's widespread agreement in the United States amongst the population that our political system is broken. There's also wide supermajority consensus on it's broken because there's, money in politics has distorted the whole system. I think that there's widespread emerging consensus that with the success of the MAGA Project 2025 movement over the past, since his first term, 2016, culminating in January 6th, and then him returning for this first year of his second term. I mean, we are in a dire situation. We are in an accelerated state of an authoritarian project.
Mm-hmm.
They are controlling the entire U.S. federal government, and they, we're anticipating that they will implement every effort they can to capture the 2026 midterm election, which is later this year, and they will consolidate their control. They're anti-democratic. They don't believe in democracy. So they are going to just assert whatever they can. Now, the majority of Americans are not going to accept this. I believe there's a strong supermajority. 66 to 75, 80% of Americans do not want to live under an authoritarian dictatorship. No.
But then why do they elect him?
The system is broken. He was elected by a minority. The whole system is rigged and broken for both sides. And we want to create a third option. So I'm part of a broad ecosystem of ecosystems movement, of movements, and we're all focusing on renewing American democracy. And we are a pro-democracy movement, and it's principled Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and all the non-participating Americans, which is the majority of people who don't even participate in our elections. That's how they got elected, because people don't participate. So we believe that there should be a third option, and that is to renew American democracy with a cross-partisan movement. You have your Democratic counter to the Republicans, that's option one, and we want to have you have the Republicans again, under Trump, more of this for decades if they entrench, or we have a third option, renew the system, transform and update the system. So there are experts, there are books, there are all this readiness for using deliberative democracy, participatory deliberative democracy at scale. We can use technology and AI to involve the American public in deliberative polling, in online deliberative assemblies. And then we want to have real in-person assemblies. And we want to harness the collective wisdom and imagination of the American people to help co-create what we want to co-create together. And we want to base it on a new principle, which is interdependence. I know we're all American, we're the independent, Declaration of Independence 250 coming up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, winner takes all. That has been the mentality of the last 250 years. And we're offering a new option, which is interdependence. Like, we all need each other. We all can coexist peacefully. So it's a whole different, update. We want to update the U.S. Constitution, refresh it, reconstruct it, keep what's really good, get rid of what's really old and not working, and add new stuff that is necessary for us to ensure the flourishing and survival of our culture, for future generations of peace, a culture of
Everything you
peace.
said just really makes me excited, and you got to fill in the blanks, because are you having conversations now about the specifics of what is broken, what needs to be fixed, and how should it be changed?
Oh yeah, there are. I published a book last May called Hit Refresh on the U.S. Constitution. There's an annex in there that shows there's dozens of campaigns focusing on amendments to the current Constitution. There's also dozens of campaigns focusing on fixing our election system or fixing our democracy, like restructuring the Supreme Court, redoing Congress. There's a call for a fourth branch of government, a National Citizens Assembly that would be permanent, like other geographies are already doing. The United States is just behind the curve on implementing deliberative democracy. So this is a big culture shift too. So it's not about voting every 2 years, and most people don't even do that, yet alone. This is about more engagement in our government. It's truly fulfilling on Abraham Lincoln's definition of democracy, which is a government of, by, and for the people, it means people have to participate. And we need your ideas. We're in this together. Yeah.
I did a conversation with James Fishkin of Stanford. Now,
he's great. Yeah.
He loves this term, deliberative democracy.
Yeah, he's a pioneer. He's a leader.
Mm-hmm. And I hope that enough people will interested in what he's doing. But one of the things that he mentioned having was before an election, there should be a national holiday where everybody should get together either in real meetings, physical assemblies, to discuss the issues and the candidates and so on, or at least
the Deliberation Day. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Is there is that part of your campaign?
I have had the opportunity to interview Professor Fishkin, Jim, on my podcast, and I've been in meetings with him. We are, I would consider him part of the Renew American Democracy movement. He's a leader. He has pioneered, trademarked what's called deliberative polling, and he has now, we can bring that to scale now. He can do large-scale deliberative polling at like tens of thousands of people. So we could roll this out across the United States. And so we're working with him on strategies around, bringing that forward. Okay. And in a revolutionary, this is the people assembling in, as we can now in this modern era. And that right for us to assemble is part of the First Amendment.
Would you describe the procedure that he's advocating?
Deliberative polling is like a sample of the population participates on an online process, and it can be in person as well. It can be hybrid, like in person and online. And it's a process where you're randomly selected, so you automatically get a cross-partisan, interracial, intergenerational, all the socioeconomic determinants. You get that diversity. And then you start learning together about those issues, and then you deliberate, and then you vote in a poll. And this process can lead to political change. In Mongolia, they have a law that the outputs of deliberative polling are automatically proposed constitutional amendments that are then brought to the population as a constitutional amendment. And that has worked twice. So, like, this deliberative polling is a breakthrough technology. The genie's out of the bottle. It's only going to spread over and over again. Because, you know what? We all can do it from this.
I'm all for that. But he also was talking about the idea of having, before a big election, everybody.
Yeah, I love that idea. Yeah, I love that. So brilliant.
It wouldn't be a sample. It would be in trying to get every voter to go talk to everybody else, because the problem is people vote without having done their homework, and they don't know what they're doing, and they make big mistakes.
And I'm guilty. I realize myself even. I walk up to the polling station and I get the flyers from the people that I like, that I think I'm going to agree with, and then I don't even know. Even me, I'm so active in the political system, but it's not real. I'm not really engaged in like who these officials should be, and it's like I think there's something wrong with the whole just depending on elections only. It's like jury duty, policy making jury duty. So citizens' assemblies, you get called into an assembly, and you're serving as a temporary decision maker, and you're making recommendations that hopefully become law. Or become the law, that go through the political process and become how the society's run. Well, so they can be very impactful.
It's also respected more because ordinary people say, well, this is not some self-selected elite group of people who are making dice for me, but they're a cross-section of the population. They're just like me. They include people like me, dummies, and so on. And therefore, I trust this more.
Right.
And I think we never question the validity of a jury, a court jury.
Mm.
We consider that a fair
Legitimate. Yeah.
procedure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this extends the same thing. So I'm
Exactly.
1,000% in favor of that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
now you're also talking about revising the U.S. Constitution. And I wonder what particular institutional changes you want to see made. In
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that right now, as I said, we're in this dire authoritarian constitutional emergency. We could go over the cliff and they could do election capture and they could entrench their rule for decades. That is the pathway of authoritarians.
Mhm.
So the pro-democracy movement is prepared, I would say, to respond. There's a massive amount of resistance. You see it in the No Kings. No Kings 3 is coming up on March 28th. You'll also see May Day, May Day mobilization, May 1st. This movement is very vigorous right now. We've seen the writing on the wall. Minnesota woke a lot of people up. Like this, and now the Iran war and the spreading regional war, which could become a global war, is also part of the authoritarian project. They create this instability to grab control and power, especially under this kind of duress that we're in. So this is all part of their playbook, and this is happening right now. So Trump could invoke the Insurrection Act. He could do other things that are, declare martial law across the country. These are things that are in his playbook, and we're just questioning. We don't know when he's going to do that, and it could be as early as around No Kings 3. I mean, that's what we're concerned about. And so, there could be, because the system is so broken, obviously, by this dynamic, there will be a moment, and we don't know when this moment will happen, but when the pieces of the puzzle are going to have to be put back together. And we're developing a plan. We are developing a participatory, deliberative, process to create a deliberative, egalitarian democracy. And we can do it fast. This is not long. It could be long. If we had as much time as we wanted, it'd be great. But we can also do it fast under emergency circumstances if there's a political window of opportunity. So we're preparing for all that. That's what we're up to.
What kind of structural changes or constitutional amendments do you personally favor?
Yeah, so there's an organization that's a leading organization called Democracy 2076. They've been around for the last 3 years. They have done consultative, deliberative convenings nationally and across the country with a wide range of stakeholders. They have 22 proposed amendments for the 250th anniversary. I think we should do at least that many and maybe more. And they include things like getting rid of the Electoral College, restructuring Congress, major reform, proportional representation, ranked choice voting, systemic reform of our election system and our political system. And they also have a set of what are called guaranteed rights, including the right to health, the rights to nature, which is an environmental provision that we want to make sure gets built in. We also are trying to figure out how to tackle the digital AI age and how to, there are proposals that I've heard about creating a fifth branch of government, an AI branch of government, actually building it into the whole structure of a refreshed constitution. But we also want to keep the First Amendment. We want to keep the wonderful, beautiful, successful aspects of the current Constitution. We're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We're building on it and creating the next iteration of it, and that will require forming a new government. Yeah, there will be a transition. There could be transitional arrangements, as there was between the Articles of Confederation and the U.S. Constitution. There was a 10-year period where the two systems overlapped, and there's other precedents for government systems going through peaceful transitions. So we want a peaceful. This is all peaceful. This is like peaceful assembly, peaceful transition, peaceful way forward. It's a new option that we want to offer. We want to offer this as an option to the American people. That's all we can do.
You mentioned several excellent suggestions, about the Electoral College and all that.
Yeah.
But now, there are some things that I think most of the people who worry about America are worried largely about the fact that money counts now as, it has political power. Corporations can.
Oh yeah, we have to overturn money in politics.
Yeah.
We have to overturn Citizens United. Yeah, and the super PAC system. Yeah, that whole part is essential, right? Sorry, that's a whole element of it. There are 3 national campaigns on constitutional amendments to overturn Citizens United. They are operating in parallel right now. So there is an opportunity to bring American Promise and End Citizens United and the other ones together under a unified campaign that we build that into a refreshed constitution. They can't get this through our Congress. There's no way to get the Constitution Amendment to overturn Citizens United through the U.S. Congress, as far as I can see.
Okay. Now, another thing that some of the people who are interested in promoting citizens' assemblies as a major institution of governance.
Yeah.
For example, this woman at Princeton, I can think.
She's at Yale, Helene Landemore.
Helene Landemore, yeah.
Yeah, she's at Yale University. Yeah.
Is it Yale? Thank you. She, I believe, would
This is her new book.
I haven't seen it.
This just came out. It's called The Case for Citizen Rule.
Well, I have to get it because I wanted to get her on, but I haven't been able to. Anyway, but one of the things that she's against is political parties, period. I think she believes that maybe we should do without them. And to me, that's a very interesting debate. Well, I don't even want to call it a debate because I haven't heard any real argument about that.
No, I think her thesis is politics without politicians. So she's saying we don't need elected politicians. I don't think, I haven't read her book yet, but I don't think she's opposed to political parties, as far as I know. But it's more about politicians and election systems as the basis for governance. So she's basically saying we have more data and more evidence that through citizens' assemblies, this whole method that we've been discussing, that it's a better system of government, and we should just use that. Now, I personally believe we need a hybrid of elected and selected. So I don't think we can go from 100% elected officials as the system of our democracy, to 100% selected. I think there's a transitional or middle of the road where we can have a hybrid. We can have elected and selected, and we can figure out how to co-govern with both elected and selected. That's where I'm at on that. I'm not at a place of just getting rid of electeds.
I think I'm on your side, but I'm not sure. It's worth talking a little.
Yeah, it's worth talking
because that is certainly you can't have the administration be done by a citizens' assembly. You need to have people who are in the business of enforcing the law. But how you get to the law is certainly one that could include more citizens' assembly, if not be predominantly that.
Yeah.
But I think that probably there are some technical ends of legislation that need a staff to
implement. Yeah.
Yeah.
The implementation. Yeah, for sure.
And
but there could be shared leadership models too. This is where right now is like hierarchical, and there's like a leader that's up, and maybe in certain settings like you need that. And in other ways, there could be like co-directors or co-presidents, or that it's like, why should it be all one person? Maybe there should be 3 co-presidents, and it could be a rotating responsibility. So decision making is joint, so you don't have a rogue, person. Like I don't make decisions alone on anything. I'm always consulting my wife and my kids. So it's like I don't know. I just think I'm open to anything, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, now
That helps us succeed in co-creating a form of government where we can flourish together, and we're recognizing our interdependence, because that is actually the truth. We are actually interdependent.
the last time we talked, I believe you were actually planning to have a convention, and you were going to pick a date and hire a hall and do all the things that would go into a constitutional convention.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where that stands now. Is that still your main game plan, or in terms of step by step how to get to where you want to go? Is that part of the procedure, or do you visualize doing it through online consultations or that kind of thing?
Yes, so thanks for that question. It's a really good question. I think that the last time we spoke, I was like, I'm the founder of Unify USA. We were creating a vertical campaign to pursue that agenda. And last September on Constitution Day, actually September 2025, I shifted gears. I went and I decided for myself and for the work that I was investing with Unify USA that we had to converge. This was so big. The concepts that we're putting forward is so transformational that pursuing it as a parallel campaign, competing amongst all the cacophony of campaigns out there, that was never going to work. So I kind of retreated and said, okay, I'm dropping fundraising for Unify USA. I'm dropping it as a separate vertical, and I'm working now on movement-wide, ecosystem-wide, pro-democracy connectivity, weaving. It's the space between all the things that are happening that is coming together now. And me and a group of us, not me alone, many of us are saying, realize last September, converge. Now we're doing that again, and things are really coming together now. So yes, we are prepared. So I decided that it wasn't about me, it's about the ecosystem of pro-democracy stakeholders and Americans and movements, which I believe is a supermajority, to come together and co-create something when everyone's ready, if the circumstances arise, if people see that this is a possibility, we can kind of make it happen. So we're ready. We are ready for that window of opportunity. And that's all I can do. That's all we can do is be ready.
Okay. Now, I think people need to know who's in and who the players are. I mean, is there a list? Do you talk to each other regularly? How do you network? How do you schmooze?
There's a Renew American Democracy Forum that is meeting regularly, weekly, bi-weekly. There's different fora. They're open, so they're generative change, but then there's really deep dive organizing and planning groups that are meeting. And no, there's no website for all this because it's like, there's sensitive stuff happening. And it's a distributed network across the entire country. It's local, state, and national. So this is a movement that's rooted in local civic hubs and local chapters of groups like Braver Angels and More Perfect Union. And there's a huge swath of pro-democracy groups that have strong grassroots local activation underway. The Rotary clubs, all these folks are cross-partisan and they are pro-democracy. So those groupings are coming together at the local and at the state level similarly. So, and then of course we have a national networking. There's national convenings that are happening, and these groups are starting to talk to each other now, support each other, connect. So it's not all happening in parallel, which is the problem of the past, because all the parallel siloed efforts got us to where we are now. I think people realize now it didn't work. We got to converge.
But I think people need to know about it more. Now, one of my concerns is the press does not give enough coverage of this. by any means. And I can only do what I can do, but I don't even know about this thing, you see? And if I don't know about it, I can't help with it.
Yeah, I think it's coming together now. We're going to launch what's called a nationwide deliberation campaign, and to consult the American public to harness the collective wisdom. That'll be the first thing that will publicly come out, and there's a lot of great actors coming together, leaders actually coming together, and co-leading and co-creating this extraordinary opportunity that we have to rebuild and recreate our country with the core of interdependence, and then harnessing all of our capabilities right now. I mean, we're living in an exciting time of capability for peace, for justice, for collective flourishing. Yeah, we don't have to destroy ourselves. We really don't have to do this, but it's a long shot that we'll beat the authoritarian, but we want to be able to have an option available.
Tell me the names of, say, 5 of the most prominent organizations involved in this.
5 of them. Let's see. I mean, I can list the organizations. Braver Angels and the Braver Network. They have chapters across the country. The Braver Network has thousands of organizations. They are aligned with courageous citizenship, and nodes within that movement are focusing on braver governance. So that is aligned with deliberative democracy and taking action in the direction that I'm talking about. I think they're a key organization. The Mediators Foundation and all of its network, with a big focus on the Better Together network. They have civic hubs across the country. They are a major player in the pro-democracy movement. I would say Thriving Together and the Ripple Foundation and the Thriving Together networks, they are mobilizing and aligned. We are all aligned in the idea that we're thriving together. That's the same thing that I'm talking about in egalitarian, deliberative democracy, that we're all aiming. They're major players aligned. Issue One is a lead center-right advocacy organization that is also really committed to the rule of law and the principles of democracy and a strong democracy. So that there's cross-partisan alignment happening, and I'm just really excited about political actors, politicians. I would say are also being engaged at different levels, and I think we just want them to start knowing that there is a Renew American Democracy movement afoot, and
the whole umbrella is. Renew American Democracy. That's the title of the movement, right?
Yeah, and RAD.
You have mentioned...
RAD. We call it RAD. Renew American Democracy. RAD.
Yeah, okay. But now you have named almost a dozen organizations that I'm thrilled. I'm quivering with excitement to hear them. And I never heard of one of them before.
Well, you're in Canada and you haven't been here in 5 years. So, I mean, this is these groups are, maybe they're not widely known, but some of them are, and they're going to be. They are, there's many, many others too. I don't mean to name them as specifically the only ones. It's this movement is emerging, and it's a connective tissue. It's not about a structure. It's about, alignment across ecosystem. So it's a movement of movements that are coming together under this banner of renewing American democracy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a banner.
From what you told me, I'm going to make a list of the
It's a verb.
Just
it's a verb
that you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a verb.
The Renew American Democracy is a space. It's a verb. It's not a noun. It's emerging. It's a collective effort. It's like the connective tissue between everything that is pro-democracy. And we have a strategy and a framework.
I'm going to make a list of the names that you've given me,
Okay.
and I'm going to print them on the end of this video so people can look it up. Because you're so enthusiastic, and I'm right excited with you. But we need to make this very accessible, much more accessible, so that everybody can find out about it and know about it, and that they can't help knowing about it because it's in the zeitgeist,
Well, I'll tell you, there's one thing that's already out in the zeitgeist that I want to put on I'll put it on your attention. There's a new movement called the People's Bill of Rights 250. I think they're an aligned effort, and they're out there. I would recommend that people go to them and check them out, because they're a public-facing. If they want to do deeper advocacy, then they can be in touch with me through Unify USA, and I will be helpful. Help people navigate advocacy, mobilization at the local, state, and federal level. The movement's afoot. It's alive. It's moving.
Okay.
It's
Unify
expanding.
USA, you say it's not doing what you thought it was going to do, but what is it doing? It's still...
Unify USA is playing a catalyst role, and we're helping to catalyze a convergence of actors around the possibility of renewing American democracy, however that might unfold. We're just preparing. We're part of this ecosystem now, and we're just offering our ideas and, unlocking political imagination so that people understand that the key thing is that international experts have said that even if you have the resistance and the no kings say really stopping the authoritarian project, it will continue to find a way to control everything if you don't have an alternative plan for forming a new government. And that's international experience has shown that. So we in the United States, many of us are not going to have that happen. We don't want to have a civil war. We don't want political violence, and we don't want to live under entrenched authoritarian rule. I would say 80% of Americans would agree with that.
Okay, now the question is, right now, what is your relationship with any real politicians, people who are running for office or who are running their political parties?
Yeah, I mean, I have politicians on my speed dial, and many are aware of what's going on at some level. Have they engaged? No. The Democrats are, pursuing the 2026 election as if it's going to be legitimate. And, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're 1,000% right. But I think it's a high-risk strategy to depend on that. I think they're pretending it's all going to be fine through 2026 and 2028 elections. And I think that's dangerous. Because what if it's not?
Well,
I mean, if it is, that's great, and we'll be ready. But what if it's not? We got to be ready for that too.
Trump is already talking about we need to have the federal government take over the elections.
Oh, he's going to invoke the 1807 Insurrection Act. And he's going to have ICE and border control and National Guard and military at polling stations. And he will federalize the elections one way or the other. And that's called election capture in the authoritarian playbook. So that's inevitable. It's how and when he will do it is the mystery.
Okay. And what happens? Say he announces tomorrow we're federalizing the election, then I'm going to be the king from now on. And what happens tomorrow afternoon in response to that?
Well, that's a great question. I don't have all the answers. I mean, I think that, the no kings kind of people on the street mobilizations are picking up steam. And we saw when communities at the local level were directly affected, like in Minnesota, that there was a spontaneous combustion of mobilization that built on this connective tissue and this network of actors and this stakeholders, and that led to a national mobilization. So the state of Minnesota actors declared a state strike, and they called on other states to join them, and many actors did join them. So I do think that there's a ripening for general strikes, economic strikes and political strikes and participation strikes. People are not going to support an authoritarian takeover of our government. And we don't want to have civil war. We want peace. We're 80% of the population. In my view, based on polling, we have 80% of the American public.
You may have 80% of the American public, but unless they have the right phone number and they know the right website, and they know the right meeting place, and the person to call, and who's going to do what, and you're organized, you forget it. You can be as powerful as you want, or rather as numerous as can be, and not have the power. So unless I think what is
we're building a cross-partisan political coalitional movement, and it's widely understood that that's what's emerging, and many stakeholders are doing that in their own circles. That's the only way we can succeed. And it's happening. It is happening. Yeah.
You need publicity. You need.
I mean, have you heard of No Kings? That's part of the movement. I mean, everything that a lot of the resistance that you're seeing is all aligned with the resistance part of the movement.
When the No Kings go out on the street, do you know what part of the New York Times you can read about it?
They don't cover it.
I'm not sure they even cover it.
Yeah, they don't.
Now, that's the problem.
Maybe it's our dependency on corporate media. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they're not actually covering the actual reality. So the whole collapse of the media, look, the media pillar of society has been taken over by the right wing. I mean, we lost CNN, CBS, all these groups are now right wing, Fox. So that's an echo chamber. That is part. So I don't know. I think we have to create an alternative media system, and that's already emerging. So anyway, Meta, I love you so much. You ask the best questions. I appreciate your inquiry. You help me think further and deeper about what I'm up to, and I am so grateful for our connection and for your community, Project Save the World. Like, you're really doing it. You don't just you're walking the talk. You get people to think and act together, and I appreciate you.
Well, the feeling is absolutely mutual. Because you're doing exactly what needs to be done, and I'm just standing by here and go, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah. I'm with you. We're aligned. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Keep me posted on more things, and I want to put it in the magazine, and I want to have a list of people, places that they can go and check it out. We want to publicize this thing, and I'm the only one I know who's trying, but I didn't know the beans about what you told me. So now I know a little bit, and I can check it out.
Okay, great. Peace.
You have a great day, and thank you for what you're doing. Oh my God, you're doing just what needs to be done. So everybody support Paul, okay?
Thank you. Peace. Bye.
Take care.